Hey everybody, Randy Patterson here with Boomerocity, and I've got a special treat for you this episode. It is with none other than that legendary and very, I don't even know how all you guys would like to describe her, but she's one of the most amazing rock guitarists on the planet today, and that is, of course, Orianthi. It's my second interview with her, and we had a lot of fun. It's a phone conversation, so you won't see video of her talking, but once you hear her voice, you're going to know that it's her unmistakable voice. And we talked about her latest album, Some Kind of Feeling, as well as some of the other stuff that she's working on. And we just had a great old time. A couple of explanations though I need to make with you. I was at another location other than my normal studio at home that I operate out of, and so the acoustics are a little different. You can hear a little echo, that type of thing. And so, and I'm recording this intro after I got back home. So that's the reason why you'll hear a little bit of a difference. You see the mic, the windscreen on the microphone, things like that. So, but it did in fact take place a couple days ago. And I can't wait for you guys to listen to the whole thing because, as always, Orianthi is always a treat to talk to and find out what she's got going on. So, and she talks a bit about another album she's working on with Cindy Santana. Of course, that's Carlos's wife, and Rhonda Smith from Prince's backup band. So there's some fun stuff on here. You're going to want to listen to the whole thing. As always, I ask if you would please hit like, and if you're not already a subscriber to whatever platform you're watching or listening to this on, please subscribe. It shouldn't cost you anything extra, and it sure helps us out a lot. So without any further ado, here's my second of what I hope are many, many, many more interviews to come with the one and only Orianthi. Until next time, this is Randy Patterson with Boomerocity. Take care.
Hello.
Hello. Hello there. How you doing?
Hi, I'm okay. So sorry about everything. It's been crazy around here.
Well, I totally understand. And if this is the worst that ever happens, I think we're doing pretty darn good, don't you?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Just a lot of dental situations with a root canal and chipped tooth and all that. So, what can you
Oh my
do?
gosh. Well, been there, done that. I've had the root canals, I've had the wisdom teeth pulled, I've had the crown on my front. When I was fifth grade, I was hit in the mouth with a baseball and it killed my front right tooth, and I
Oh,
had it
that's
for years until I finally got a crown on it, and I still smile like I got that dark tooth in the front. So it's
you
funny
know
how that
what?
burns into your mind.
I gotta tell you, sports and music, I had a similar thing happen when I was playing basketball and baseball. When I was younger, and then also playing in clubs when I was younger too with the microphone and chipping my teeth at like 15, 16 all the time. So yeah, fun
Wow.
time. Yeah, I know. I quit school when I was 15 and I was playing in three cover bands a week. So
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
the Aussie pubs did the rounds.
So this week kind of reminds you of old times, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Except, it's nice being it's nice being in LA, and I got to tell you the dentists are really wonderful out here. So it's all gonna be good. I got a video clip coming up this week. We're filming it, and then I head out on tour again. So it's been really
My
nice to be
goodness.
home for a bit.
Oh, I can imagine. How was your, I know when we were first trying to set this up, you were about to go on tour in Europe. How did that tour go for you?
Oh, that was amazing. I had, kind of, I didn't know what expectations would be because I was like, well, I haven't been over there for so long. The last tour I did was opening for Bad Company, and
Hmm.
that was a long time ago, with Richie Sambora, and we had a great time, and that was awesome. And so I hadn't visited, and so when they announced it, I was like, oh, this is a bit nerve-wracking, but we sold out of all the shows. I mean, they were sold out, packed out. We played big festivals, bus pop, which was awesome, and then guitar on sand, and then we played, yeah, just so many, I mean, wonderful places. And Romania was the last show that we played, and there was a electrical storm, so that was very fitting for Transylvania. With the lightning coming down and power going out, and then the promoter going, the show must go on, and they turned the power back on for us in a tent, and there was a wild storm. And hey, you know what? We survived. We lived,
There you
and
go.
people were happy and got home and in one piece. But man, that was wild. Very grateful though that people came out and we had a good time. It was a lot of shows. It was a good time. I'm heading back over there again in January to do a UK. Headlining the Planet Rock Festival over there because my song
Oh,
they've been,
cool.
they've been supporting my record and my record's actually number one right now in the UK. So that's
Well,
very cool.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. How are I'm just curious. I mean, I've only been to Europe one time, and gosh, I was in 19, when you say 19, you know it's been a long time. I was in 1989 when I went over to Switzerland. But I'm just curious for musicians. I like asking musicians this, and and now especially you. How and from your perspective, how are the crowds different compared to the U.S.?
Well, it's funny because well, the energy is really high. I mean, everyone's really excited. I mean, not to say they're not out here as well, but yeah, they really get into it a little more, like the dancing and just ready to party, as soon as we get on stage.
Yeah.
So that's awesome because that, gives us like great energy as well. And but then, it's funny coming back to the US and then playing some shows after experiencing the European crowds here. We went to San Francisco and played over there. And I got to tell you, that was a freaking awesome crowd too. It was wild. People were dancing and having a good time, and it felt amazing. So I don't know. It's just for me, it's all about vibe, and we try to as a band, and I tour right now as a three piece, old school kind of like Cream and kind of Hendrix vibe, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's really free. It's really, I love that sound because it sounds really big, even though there's only three members. We really, um, I know we leave a lot of space as well, which I think is great. And I love having a big band too. I love having percussion, keys, and singers. And I do that when I'm going to play the Canyon Club out here in Agora Hills in October, and we're going to have a huge band, and it's going to be wonderful. I love doing that
Hmm.
with horns and everything, and guests and stuff like that. But touring, as a three piece, it's a little more pressure as well. Like I like having that pressure on me to play a lot more parts as a guitar player and really fill it out, and also have the freedom to do what I want to do. Because when you're having another guitar player on stage, you got to kind of work together with parts, and it can get a bit tricky sometimes if I'm, you know what I mean, like covering a lot, and then they're doing the same
Yeah.
thing, or whatever, and then I don't tell them what I'm doing because half the time I'm pretty sporadic, with the way I play. It's in the moment, and so
Mhm.
yeah, it was really wonderful to experience that show, that energy from the San Francisco crowd after returning from Europe and then being so into it. It's wonderful. Then we
Mhm.
played up in Maryland and uh with the uh oh my gosh, Marshall Tucker band, and that was really fun. And I think that yeah, you know what, it's all about vibes for me, and I think now I'm attracting my crowd is very much about positive energy, and it's a
Yeah.
wonderful thing, truly.
Yep. Especially in this day and time, I think people, I think everybody has a political opinion, but for me personally, I think crowds get off more on where they can go to a show such as yours and politics not be mentioned, and you get to escape for a while. That's what I think. That's my opinion. And
Yeah.
and it's not to talk down about the politics because we have
No.
to have it to be able to coexist on this planet, unless the
Oh yeah.
politicians really screwed up. But that said, I really think, and I don't mean this as a slam against any celebrity, but I really think the crowds don't want to hear political opinions. They just want to escape, have fun, enjoy the musicianship, enjoy the memories if it's a legacy band, and just have fun. I think that's what people are yearning for today. Sounds like you're
Yeah.
providing it too.
Well, that that's the thing. I stay out of anything that divides people. I want to stay
Hmm.
clear of that because, you know, I feel my job on this planet is to bring people together and just write songs that comfort people and you know people have a good time and sort of escape not reality but just escape everyday sort of living and, the stresses and all that. And I think that music is such a comfort. It's like therapy for me to write and create and everything. And,
Hmm.
and I've changed the way I make music now in the sense of like going back to how it was when I was really young, which was having fun, because before when
Yeah.
I signed to a major label and all that, the fun kind of got taken out of it somewhat. It became like it was a factory situation that you got to do a hit, the pressure was on. And I go, like, yeah, but that's not the way to really make music. I mean, it was a great experience and I got, hit song and
Hmm.
platinum album out of that. And it was amazing to go through all of that and many years of working with different, big labels. But then it's kind of now, really stepping in my own light and surrounding myself with the right people. It takes time and it's still a
It does.
process, because everyone changes and things change and you just have to go with, people that align with your frequency and align with your, your vision.
Hmm.
And that's it really. I think in life there's no right or wrong. It's just like what fits you at that moment and the people that are around. um, and so, yeah, making some kind of feeling was really a freeing experience because I started it myself in the studio at Robbie Krieger's, who's a legend and a dear friend of mine,
Yep.
and
Yep.
with my band. And I produced the first, I think it was 4 songs. And I felt, this is a direction. And then I sent it to Kevin Shirley to mix. And then I said,
Hmm.
Kevin's like, he's an incredible producer, aside from being an amazing,
Yeah, he
amazing
is.
mixer. And I'm like, and we had dinner, and he's like, hey, I love to produce some stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that'd be awesome because, I love producing my own stuff. I really do. But then I love somebody coming in who has a very strong sense of themselves and knows, like, they're not like, I'm not sure. They like Kevin's sure about things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he has a very uplifting energy about him when he comes in the studio, and he knows how to direct the band a certain way to make things sound right. So it
Yeah.
was great working with him. He's very like alpha like that, and I love producers that come in like that. And he's a friend. So we had a really good time, and it was my band, and we only did like 3 takes of each song, and we picked
Wow.
the best one and didn't use
Hmm.
any auto tune on the vocals or anything because I wanted to, because I'm like, let's polish it, and then Kevin's like, no, and it was kind of like a mini fight. He's like, you're not singing out of tune. And I'm like, my ears got so used to auto tune, and all that stuff, right, for
Yeah.
many years, and being in the pop world and all that. And then I was like, you know what? Yeah, yeah, let's just sing in tune and and all that. And I sang it a few times, and we just picked the best vocal take as well. And I played. I guess we kept a lot of the guitars I played, during the 3 takes or whatever that we did, and then I would overdub some parts. But ultimately, yeah, it's pretty live. I mean, the record, it
Hmm.
wasn't overdone because I've spent years on records, and you know, and that can be a good thing too. I mean, it really depends, but I think
Yeah.
this album I'm really proud of because it's the start of something. Um, it's kind of going back to the beginning, but not. It's where I want
Yeah.
to be right now. So yeah, I'm happy with it. So
Well, with working with Kevin, I mean, obviously, I when I hear Kevin these days, I mean, obviously his body of work spans all, a lot of great albums. When hear Kevin these days, person pops in my mind is Joe Bonamassa. So I got to ask, have you and Joe ever played together?
yeah, he joined me for well, actually a long time ago. We did a thing for Midnight Mission. We all jammed for Norm's thing that he was putting on in Tarzana
Hmm.
and here in LA. And then I guess we jammed at different events and whatnot. But then when he played on a record that never came out. This is ages ago that I was doing at studio. And when I was going in to do this, record, it kind of called for another guitar player. And we were talking about other things. And then I just sort of invited him. I was like, hey, if you're around, I'd love for you to play on First Time Blues. And then he was like, yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd love to. And because the other song never, saw a light of day or anything. And so got him some Diet Cokes. He came in and played on it. And it was, yeah. Um,
Very cool.
it was fun. And then he got up on stage and jammed with us at the whiskey, and that was really cool. So
Nice. Very nice. What else? Well, first of all, how long did it take for you to get this album, put it together from start to finish?
the record was really
Yeah.
fast. I mean, it was just done in increments because of the fact that I was touring, and I'm also making another album as well with Eddie Kramer.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah. And Cindy Cindy Blackman Santana, and also Rhonda Smith. And so
Right.
it's a super group that's coming out this year. And that record we've been working on for about a year and a half, 2 years. And so yeah, because our schedules, once again, that we're all
Yeah.
very busy people, and and having Eddie, such a legend, flying in from Canada to Vegas and working with us, and then we're all you know in our lab, in our psychedelic lab, creating this awesome record. I mean, I'm excited about this
Hmm.
record. I think that this is a brand new sound. It's powerful. It's like Band of Gypsies meets Cream meets, like, I don't know what exactly, but it's new. It's our own sound, and I think people are going to be really excited when they hear the music and see us live. So we're working on that. It's coming out soon. And that's why, it's been a lot of stuff between the touring, the two albums, and
Hmm.
everything, and then getting over it, the jet lag too. Yeah, that's another thing you gotta.
Oh, I can imagine. So, what else was different about recording this album than, say, working with Kevin or, having to spread it out over such a long time because of having to tour and all that? Was there anything specifically different about this album, putting it together for you compared to the other work you've done?
Are you talking about the record with the three-piece record
No, no,
with
no, no.
Eddie?
I'm sorry. Your solo record.
On my solo record. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was just done in different sort of increments. So we did like 4 songs, and we did like 2 songs, and we did like 5 songs. I can't remember. Yeah, anyway, we did it like that. It was sort of um yeah, it wasn't done all in one go. Sometimes it's
Right.
done like that. I made a record in 14 days before, wrote and recorded one record. It's called Rock Candy. And that was
Hmm.
interesting, but it was fun, doing that. And every record I've done has had such a different like process to it. Like whether it's
Hmm.
been like a massive, you know, like situation with Interscope Records, we have all these songwriters coming in, producers, you're spending thousands of $1,000s a day because people are just hanging out, and you know what I mean. It's just money's just been thrown at it. But and then you have other times where I'm spending my own money and doing independent releases and going to Nashville and doing things, and yeah, so it's been a mixture of stuff. Whether I travel, look, I love making records in Nashville too. I mean, but there's something about Robbie's studio being in LA, just I don't know. It was really relaxed. It wasn't you know, not to say the other studios are pretentious or anything, but you have to just kind of be on because you never know who's next door, like another
Yeah.
artist next
Yeah.
door, and they want to come hang out. I want to hear what you're doing. And I'm like, oh fuck, it's not done yet. I don't need to hear anything. It's like, don't come in. Then you're looking at the clock and you're like, oh, I'm paying for this. Damn, well, I want to hang out with you and all, but like, can we pick another time? You know? And everyone's waiting. And that always happens because, we're all social butterflies, as artists. We really are. We love, to share, but then time slips away, and then sometimes you can lose the vibe if you're, being too
Yeah.
social. And so I like the fact at Robbie's we can just, shut the door. It's such a, cool environment. It's real hippie, like laid back, and everyone that works there are just real, low key. And Robbie's always around too, which is awesome. And then we
Yeah.
just just record, and then at the end have some tequila and chill out and listen and go, cool, yeah, this is good. We're good. Tomorrow we'll come back and we'll make a few fixes, or comp some stuff, and we're done, and send it off to mixing. So I like that process where it's old school. It's going on a, that's why I call it some kind of feeling, because every song's going on a feeling. It's all about creating that, because I think music is just, it's very emotional. It's very like, you want to feel something. You don't want to feel like, oh, nothing, and like, and
Hmm.
I have made some records where it didn't affect me. Like it didn't make me feel anything. If that, not to say I was numb, but I wanted to really create something with this album. Like every song, the guitar tone, the melodies, the vocals, everything, it just yeah, connected and makes everyone feel some kind of feeling with every song, whether it be
Yeah.
happy or just thoughtful, just it's like that. So
I think it definitely does that. I'm curious though, working at Robbie's studio, I think everybody knows he's Robbie from the Doors, right? Was there anything? I mean, because there's, you know, I mean, he's a little bit older than me, so I can say, well, between your generation, because you're a bit younger than us, and our generation, did you feel like you gleaned some special knowledge from him that was kind of transcendent of the generations, and something that maybe some wisdom you picked up from working in his studio and chatting with him that you could carry on with you in your career?
Oh, absolutely. Robbie's he's amazing. And every time I get to jam with him and actually playing a show with him on the 30th out here at the Greek Theatre, we're doing a the Morrison Hotel album. And we're going to be
Wow.
jamming and yeah, lots of special guests, and it's going to be a wonderful evening. I've known Robbie now for God, a long time. I think it's like almost 15 years or more.
Hmm.
Um, I met him, God, when was it? I don't even know. At some kind of event. It was a charity event, I think. And I was like, I'm such a big Doors fan. Like growing up, listening
Hmm.
to, I grew up in a time warp. I sort of felt like I grew up in the 70s or the 60s, opposed to, because my dad had all these records around and I didn't leave the room and, really the living room. And it was just like, guitars and records, and I would just listen to BB King, Jimi Hendrix. I kept in my own
Hmm.
world. I'm the same way today, though. That's the thing. It's like I'm pretty stubborn. I'm stuck in my own world, and my condo here is filled with guitars and crystals and a lot of things that people would be like, "Wow, this looks." Does not like an adult lives in this place. That's for sure.
Well,
Um,
adulting is highly overrated, don't you think? So,
Yeah, you know what? I've opted for not to say that I'm not, I'm very responsible and all of that, but I
right.
choose to be surrounded by things that make me feel inspired, excited, and not too like over it. I think that's the thing. It's like our idea of like being an adult and being like a certain way. It's like, it's of course we're grown-ups
Yeah.
here, but at the
Yeah.
same time, like our spirit should never feel like older or anything like that. It should stay the same as when I'm 6 years old or 15 years old, and I wanted to pick up that guitar because it was fun and you can create things, and it took you away from
Yep.
reality and created this and it's just, the sounds and songs you can create. There's endless possibilities, and I think you can
Mhm.
do anything you want to do. And I think,
That's right.
you know, when you look people, I mean, these days, kids growing up with social media and iPhones in their hands at birth, basically, and like that's all they have. They don't have that real connection of the way I grew up, and many did around, my age and obviously, older too generation, outside connecting, jamming, you know,
Hmm.
learning from records opposed to YouTube videos on how to play
Right.
everything, which I'm so
Yep.
pissed at. I got to tell you, I'm so pissed because, like, man, if I had that when I was younger, it would have really sped up that process of learning some bit. Because I'm like, I used to wear out a VHS. You pause it, play it, then get on the vinyl and try to put the needle on the frickin' and then you had
Yep.
to find it again, and then I was like, fuck, and then it was like, this whole thing. I'm like, I'm not supposed to swear on here. Sorry, I'm Australian. So I but I like literally, I was, and then tapes as well and DAT machines, whatnot. And I try to
Hmm.
slow it down to learn things. And then I'm going, kids have got it so easy these days, like
They
really,
do.
really. But hey, you know what? It is what it is. And I actually enjoyed the process because I was passionate about it. I don't think anyone can tell you, whatever you want to be as as a kid, it's like your passion. When you have that,
Hmm.
it's a really special thing. And I'm really grateful to my parents for allowing me to run with it because I was pretty eccentric as a kid, and but I was very determined. There was no budging, it was kind of like,
Hmm.
this is what I'm doing, and I was like, okay. 6 years old, wrote my first song and went to school, and I was excited for
Wow.
everyone to hear it. And of course I made an announcement like I'm performing it at the assembly for the entire school. I was like 6 years old, and it was very crazy of me, but I don't know. I just was like, I'm so excited about the song. I must play it for the entire school. And I convinced, I don't know, the teachers that it was a good idea, and it happened. And then I would have me all the time to do it because kids liked it, I guess. I was dancing. And yeah, I got into the Beatles back then and Elvis and all that. But it was, entertaining. There's something about it. I don't know if there's something like wrong with me or right with me, but it's just something I,
Nope. You were
you know,
you were where
enjoy
you were
doing.
supposed to be. That's what it was.
Mm.
But you were talking about you mentioned Elvis. By the way, I'm so old. Elvis was my first concert I went to, and the Colonel was my first interview. I was 13, 14 years old, and it was in Phoenix,
Wow,
Arizona. So
that's
that
amazing.
was yeah. I look back on it now and I see that it was. I didn't know I would start Boomerocity almost 17 years ago, and it occurred to me one day that the Colonel was my first celebrity interview. But then about the Doors, first year or so after I launched Boomerocity, and Robbie, if you were to mention this person's name to Robbie, I've never talked to Robbie, but I'm sure he'd say, "Oh, that woman was crazy," and that was among my first interviews was with Patricia Keneally Morrison, who she's the one that had the hand fasting ceremony with Jim Morrison, and it was recreated in the Oliver Stone movie. In fact, she played the witch in the movie that married Val Kilmer and Kathleen Quinlan together as, the
Oh,
two characters. And so
yeah, yeah.
Patricia was the one that did perform the ceremony in the movie. And she was unique. She's dead now. She passed 4 or 5 years ago, I think. But
We were
yeah,
just,
that's my
yeah.
close. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, no, I was just talking about that movie last night, wildly enough. But yeah, so with a friend of mine, yeah.
But yeah, my bucket list is to talk to Robbie sometime. It'd be fascinating to kind of pick his brain from a business perspective because the history of him's all known. I think there's some other things we could learn from him that a lot of people don't talk about. But you mentioned the album with Cindy. That's what, if you recall, a few months ago, that's what got our exchange going about trying to set up the interview because when I
Yeah.
interviewed her, she had I thought that the album that you and Rhonda and her worked on, I thought it was like the drop anytime. It still hasn't come out yet, has it?
No, no, no. We're working on things. That's all I'm saying right
Okay.
now. There's a few things we had to sort out, but now we're gonna record one more song. We're gonna add,
Ah,
and
okay.
yeah, so we decided because we were going through all the mixes and we were making sure it was perfect, and we because of the scheduling and everything with our crazy
Yeah.
schedules, we like to make sure that we all hear things, we all get together and on a Zoom and remotely mix and all that stuff. So I think now we've really picked the songs that we feel is a good body of work and we're adding one more song and then we're ready to go. And then we're going to have some instrumentals that are pretty wild as well. They're going to be analog and on vinyl. And there's a lot of really
Cool.
special things and additional things we're going to add, tracks we're going to add and also interviews and documentary and all that kind of, there's so many things to come, with this whole project that will
Yeah.
really give insight to our history as individual artists and
Yeah.
players, and also how it came together and the process. And I think it's just such a really interesting, cool story. It's not just, oh, let's put together a band, whatever.
Right,
It's
right.
there's a lot of stuff behind it too, and just you know every song as well. There's a message behind it. Yeah, I just feel like working with Eddie. I mean, what an incredible, legend. And the way
Hmm.
that he records guitars is so fascinating to me and everything. I mean, he's recorded all of us in a really unique way. And I love watching him in the studio as well because he's, paying attention to everything from the compressor to like the EQ and he's always messing around with stuff as I'm playing and
Hmm.
moving the mics and all that kind of stuff. And it's very loud. I'm playing very loud with my amp. And he's always like, okay, I'm going into the amp room or do not play. I'm like, okay. So he goes to the amp room and I have to say off the guitar. Okay. All right. No, I won't play. And then, then he runs out, he shuts the door. Okay. You can play now. It's like, okay. And it's like, yeah. So it is loud. And if we send a tech in, and this is horrible, actually, a couple of times I didn't know someone went into the amp room to go move something. I don't know what, but people have to give me a heads up. Otherwise, I'll start playing, and then the poor, engineers in there or someone who's working at the studio plugging in something, and they come out like, "Fuck, I can't hear anything. My ears are like ringing." So, and so I feel awful. I feel like I'm torturing them. So that it's like, and I play pretty loud on stage too because I grew up that
Hmm.
way, and my hearing hasn't gone. I guess because I have face the amp away from me. So I face
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
slightly more towards well the audience, but to the side and so I don't
yeah.
get the full. situation of the cymbals and the amp. And when it's overloaded like that, it's like, oh my Lord. I used to play that in a cover band, and luckily I got out without tinnitus, but hearing for me is very important because I got to keep my pitch for singing too. So I don't
Right,
like to wear
right.
ears. I don't like wearing ears. It just feels like too much traffic in my head, and it's like everything's in my head. Unless you get the perfect mix, but still I like to hear the air of everything and all of that good stuff. So yeah, I can't wait for us to play shows. That's going to happen soon. There will be social media and all that stuff is going to be put up for the three-piece release soon and all of
Mhm.
that. And we can't wait to play shows by the end of this year. There should be a song and shows, all that. Probably in
Yeah.
Vegas for us, I would think. But
Do you think you'll do a full-blown tour, or is it just going to be a select number of shows just out west or something? Because I'm
well, it
in
really,
East Tennessee, we don't get as much as you guys do in LA, right? So I'm in the Knoxville
yeah.
area, up in the Smoky Mountains. That's where I live.
Oh,
So I would love
okay.
to be able to catch you guys.
Well, I'm actually playing in Nashville at a city winery. I'm doing a show out there
When?
In October. So I'll send it.
Ooh,
Yeah, that should be up on my website. I
okay.
believe it's later in October because I'm doing two shows in Florida, and then on the way back I decided to stop by Nashville and do like a smaller show there because it's always nice to do smaller shows. I'm doing the big ones, and then it's kind of cool to do like just acoustic sort of it's still going to be electric as well. I think. I don't know. I haven't decided
Yeah.
yet with that yet.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be fun. And um, yeah, I mean, with what we're doing, it really depends on schedules. It depends on obviously, Carlos's schedule too, because he's traveling a lot and touring and doing his residency.
Hmm.
And it has to do with my touring and everyone and Rhonda. So we have to collectively kind of feel and sort of see what it fits and whether we could do 10 shows, we could do a bunch of like a short run, right? And then
Yeah. Yeah.
go back to our solo stuff or what we do and then come back together. So it's going to be a thing where it won't be like it. I don't know though. I don't know what to really say yet. I mean, it depends, it really does on everybody and how we all feel and how it's received. And I think for some reason I just feel like the energy behind it, I'm really hoping it gets received really well because of the intention, everything behind it. It's not we just want to make great music. We
Yeah.
uh
Yeah.
we love hanging out with each other. We're great friends, all of us. And it's been a joy, it really has.
Yeah. Well, I've interviewed Cindy several times. I love talking with her. She's always a blast to talk to, just like you are. Never talked to Rhonda yet, though, so I need to try to make that happen. But what I would
Yeah.
love to be able to do, if it's at all possible, and I know it's tough to get you three together, but I think it'd be fun to talk to the three of you at the same time, around the time the album drops, so that just kind of, because I want to feel that energy of you guys, interacting with each other while we're all talking. I think it'd be a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of fun.
we have a lot of fun together. We joke a lot and we really love and
Hmm.
respect each other. I think that is so it's pretty rare actually for a band,
Hmm.
to do that. But I think when we have things we want to change or things we want to do, we all kind of talk it out and go, cool. Let's check it out. Let's try that.
Yeah,
We're not like
yeah.
absolutely not. There's no. I mean, even though we're all strong, individuals with strong opinions, we definitely have that level of respect where we just sort of go, yeah, let's check it out. Let's try this and everything. And
Hmm.
with Eddie, at the board and everything, it's wonderful. And just the way this whole thing came about, it happened at a Raiders game. So, um, yeah, so it was really cool that, we just Sydney and I got together and we found Rhonda and all that. So, and I actually met
Hmm.
Rhonda through Jeff Beck. So that
I'll
was
be done.
wild.
Wow, wow.
Yeah, so I was hanging with Jeff and he's like, you got to meet Rhonda, bass player. And I'm like, okay. And then I met Rhonda. She's like, girl, we should do something together one day and we'll hang out, just catch up. And I'm like, yeah. So we exchanged numbers. And when Cindy and I were sitting at a Raiders game and Mark Davis was like, hey, you girls should play together and do something. And like, oh, he had the vision for it, which was really cool.
Hmm.
And we decided like, yeah, that's fine. The perfect bass player. And she's a badass, and just cool. And so, yeah, how it
Wow.
happened.
Well, I didn't have this question down, and we'll wrap this up here because I know you got other things to do as well. But the question popped in my mind. I'm of the mistaken opinion that society, especially here in the US, and I would think in the entertainment industry, that we have progressed so far that sexism wouldn't come into play. But I kind of get whiffs of things every once in a while that kind of has led me to believe that it's still alive and well, and that women aren't, they're not, still not treated equally in this business. But I'd be curious on as to what your take on that is, because I mean, because from the outside looking in as a fan, I'm not a musician. My only connection into this business is doing what I'm doing right now, and that's interviewing folks like you. So I can only surmise from what I glean from all of you what it's like. But you know, I wonder if it's still a problem, because for you, like, you have this mystique, this vibe that you put out, and everybody sees you as kind of mysterious because you have the hat pulled down and you got this
Mhm.
amazing talent and you play with all these great people. But do you find you're still have that your head's still bumping up against the glass ceiling?
You know what? It depends on, I mean, look, there's definitely times have changed. And when I first started playing guitar and coming out here, there wasn't that many, women that play guitar, right? At all.
Right, right.
And so, but now it's like, there's so many, so many. And when I came up with my first record, I know that According to You, like that was like putting, tapping guitar solo in a pop song that went multi-platinum, and it inspired a lot of, female guitar players. And I see them all coming out now. Not saying that I was one of the first to do it, but I kind of was at that time, in
Hmm.
2009, when there wasn't any other female putting out, songs with guitar solos like that, and so
Right, right.
it definitely started a trend, and I saw a lot more coming out, the blonde guitar players and all that, you know what I mean? It's like, and they'd always reference me and all that, and it's really cool to be, one of the first to sort of start that from, I listened to Bonnie Raitt, Jennifer Batten, Nancy Wilson,
Hmm.
Joan Jett, just like badass players, Lita Ford. And then yeah, so it's like coming out and doing something like that, which was pretty bold, because at the time I didn't know if they're going to play on the radio, because guitar
Hmm.
solos were not really, like that, or anything. I don't know. It was kind of weird, because I was going after that super pop, uh, not Kelly Clarkson, but you know what I'm saying, like, Avril Lavigne vibe of a song.
Right.
Um, and it was really a strong positive message too. But the way that we shot the music video was very much like Guitar Hero, to inspire kids. It was
Hmm.
like with a guitar neck, the view of the guitar neck, and sort of like, hey, you should learn this, it'd be fun. And so it was cool. But um in answer to your question, because I manage myself now, I let go of all my managers. I decided, the thing is with managers, I somehow, some artists have been super lucky in finding the right best friend manager that gets them completely and knows what to do, right? And it's really hard to find that, because being a manager is really tough. It's not easy, and there's a lot of things that go into it. Not just, oh, I can manage somebody. No, you have to be super connected, super, hornet, run after things. It's a whole situation. Like Alice Cooper, and many people I know have that great relationship with their manager, right? And
Right,
they're
right.
badasses, like Shep isn't badass. For me, I've been through so many different scenarios where it just didn't fit, and I'm kind of the artist that I change constantly, and I like to kind of keep doing things that I want to do, and so I'm kind of like a moving target in a way. I really am. Like, I like to, not to say that I'm indecisive. I'm very set on things, and so I decided to take things in my own hands, and I got a number one record. So, I that's the way I look at it, and I think
Hmm.
it works. It stresses me out, I'm not gonna lie and say that it's easy, but I personally call people. I get on the phone, I negotiate things, I work things out. I'm also like, the artist too. So I gotta like put myself into different zones every day. Um, and am I taken seriously? Yes, for the most part. There are some situations, as of like the other day, I was talking to somebody, and it was wow. Like, yeah, it was quite enlightening, because I thought to myself, if I was a guy right now, I would be like, yeah, you're doing it. It's awesome, man. Like what you're doing. But because, I don't know how to describe it. It was a bit strange. Like, you know what I mean? I kind of felt like, oh, they were thinking I was being moody or just temperamental. But no, no, no. I had strong opinions about something. And
Mhm.
I think that, yeah, but look, I have so many guy friends and so many people that are just so like accepting. And I don't, they don't even look at me like me being like a girl in this business or, you know, stepping into the field of being a manager as well and all that. So it's kind of like, um, yeah, I just get accepted and it's all supportive and wonderful. So it's you know, there's definitely, I mean, look, it is what it is. It's just people. I shouldn't say guys, it's girls and guys, you know, it's a
Yeah.
combination. It's like um this business, the music business is forever changing. And
Hmm.
I'm not in it for the music business. I'm in it to get my music heard, to continue to create, to do what I love to do, and sort of you know, just make things right. I mean, that's why I get on the
Yeah.
phone and deal with all these people that I don't want to deal with, to be honest, half the time. Just so
Yeah.
I can get on stage, perform, put out music, do my thing, and just have fun and inspire people. And it's really simple, really. It's not overcomplicated, you know. So
Well, I know the fans sense that from you, and that's the reason why you have the following you do, and why I wanted to talk with you. I just, I've followed you for years, and we talked one other time, 2 or 3 years ago. I forget far back it's been, but I love seeing you progress and how you keep moving forward and raising the bar for people. And I know people love watching you play, hearing you play, and it's always a treat for me to be able to help promote that. I'm not Rolling Stone magazine, thank God, but I do have a niche of people around the world, so I can do my part to help plug your work, and hopefully we can do more of this in the future, especially when you and Cindy and Rhonda have the album coming out. So that would be fun, and I'll contact Cindy as well and see if we can do something like that closer to the time of it
yeah,
dropping. But
thank
and
you.
also I'll see if I can make it to the Nashville show. I don't know if I can. I'm my dad's caregiver, so it makes it hard for me to get away sometimes. But if I can, I'll give you a heads up. Maybe I can bump your
Absolutely.
elbow and say hello. That would be great to meet you in person.
Yeah, likewise. That'd be great. Just let me know. Just email me, and yeah, it'd be wonderful to see you. So yeah, and thank you so much for your support and understanding, and how many times I changed this the timing of this interview. But yeah, I appreciate you big time. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate that too. So listen, continue to take care of yourself and watch those microphones.
Yeah.
I think the dentists have made enough money off of you this year. Okay, so
Oh, they have. They truly have. And you know what I found on Amazon, which I love now, are these microphone covers, and they're different colors. And so um they're awesome actually. And I use them now. There's like yellow, orange, pink, purple, and I have different colors every night. And they're cool. They're like freaking like, I don't know, 60s looking. And I just found them late at night on
you found
freaking
them on
Amazon.
Amazon because I've been trying to find the same thing. I want something
Yeah.
kind of like psychedelic
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can change them out. Oh, okay, you
You
got
can
to
go on
send me the
Amazon.
link to it, Ori.
I
So.
will. You go on Amazon, you just go microphone covers, and you can find different ones. And I just have so many different colors now, and I've just started this thing where it's like every show is a different color. So yeah, I
How
love it.
fun. I'm going to check it out. I,
It is
I,
fun.
I may
And
be copying you on that. So
hey, you know what? It's cool. I dig it, and the band like it too. It's like it looks fun on stage too.
I bet. I bet. Well, listen, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks so much for taking the time. And I look forward to talking to you many more times down the road.
Likewise, thank you very, very much. You have a
All right.
wonderful
All right.
weekend. Take care of
You
yourself.
too. All right. Will do. Take care. Bye bye.